You're listening
You're listening
to another episode
of the FreshTakes
podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Fresh Takes podcast. I am your host, Tim, alongside my two co-hosts, Tank and Pat. And, Pat, your shirt is just like the Giants season, dead and over.
Extinct.
Daniel Jones' career, extinct.
Well, career in New York. I do believe he'll somehow snag another starting job.
I 100% think that he could go to Cleveland or the Raiders.
Yeah, trash organizations that always make the wrong mistake.
Yeah, knowing the Raiders, they'll give up their second-round pick for Daniel Jones and like two first-rounders.
Honestly, is it sad as a Cowboys fan? I'm really hoping we would lose out. You all win some extra games, and we get the number one draft pick.
Dude, they putting in DeVito so we lose out.
Well, I know, but I'm just.
I think the Cowboys actually don't want to end up with the number one pick because then they have the hype of getting it right. And who do they draft? Because if they draft Travis Hunter, that doesn't help their team. They need.
They would get Genty.
And
yeah, we want. I've read that we want.
Yeah, you don't draft Genty number one overall, though.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, also, you have to do worse than Cleveland, New York, Tennessee, Jacksonville.
Carolina.
No, Carolina's like neck and neck with you guys. And Carolina, I think, could get another win.
Yeah, they're looking a little hot.
Hey, I'm pretty sure that you guys are both 3-8 right now. Or 3-7, whatever it is. And then
well,
the Raiders.
The Jets are 3-8. Patriots are 3-8. Raiders are 2-8. Browns are 2-8. Titans are 2-8. Jaguars are 2-9. We're 3-7. You're 2-8. Bears are 4-6, and Panthers are 3-7. With the Saints being at 4-7, Buccaneers being at 4-6.
Yeah, and here's the thing: you guys play us one more time, and we're gonna tank to make sure you guys don't beat us. And it's Thanksgiving.
I just say, it's gonna be the backup bowl. I don't know. I don't. I love watching football on Thanksgiving. I really do. But like, I'm not even looking forward to the Cowboys game. And I'm a diehard Dallas Cowboys fan, and I'm not even looking forward to that game.
I'm looking forward to the run game that the Giants and the Cowboys don't have. Just kidding. Tyrone Tracy, I think, has like 3 out of his 4 games 100+ rushing yards, so he'll smoke the Cowboys defense with his legs, and then Tommy DeVito will throw a 6-yard interception. But all right, let's get it started. Are we in or are we out? Number 1 today, Dougie P's done. Whether it's this week or it's at the end of the season, Dougie P's done.
Definitely in. Yeah, he's definitely.
I don't think he's head coach material. He needs to go back to being a coordinator.
Yeah.
Well, I definitely 100%.
He loses locker rooms.
And I mean, he's ruined Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, that's the whole Jags, though. That's a complete overhaul. A lot of changes.
Oh, I think he's also ruined ETN. I mean, how do you have ETN who's had like the last 2 seasons blow up, and then this season he's got like 400 rushing yards?
Yeah, I think I drafted him in one of my leagues because
he was my first round pick this year,
and he hasn't done crap.
So I picked him over freaking Aaron Jones. So, all right.
I definitely.
So it looks like we're all in agreement that Dougie P's season is done. All right, next up, this one probably hear more info from Pat. The Eagles are only a good second half team. They look bad in the first half, but in the second half, they actually look like a good team.
I'm in on that. I agree.
I'm in on it.
I mean, the footage is the proof there. They kind of do just It's weird because they hang around in first halves, but they're never fully executing.
Like
And then,
there's the
yeah,
Tampa Bay game. They did awful in the first half, came back. The Giants game, they kept it close in the first half and then blew it away. The Commanders game, the
yeah,
Bengals game where everybody thought they were going to lose to the Bengals and they came back and destroyed the Bengals.
yeah.
Do you
Even
feel like they go into halftime and get those smelly salts up in their nose and they're like,
You can
"Go."
use smelling salts before going in there.
Well, I'm just saying, like
maybe.
they're not using the good ones, I guess.
No, I think Nick Sirianni realizes Saquon's his best player, and Saquon gets more touches in the second half.
Well, I think they use like a boxing type strategy and just kind of gauge their opponent, and then
Yeah,
bam, we're gonna knock you out with the run game. Like,
yeah, especially
hey,
like in the
working. I
Commanders
like it.
game. The Commanders game, they kind of went in and they were like, "All right, this is the like guy in the defense that's kind of bad. Let's target him."
Yeah.
And I think Emmanuel Forbes, they just kept targeting him all night, and that's what helped them. Uh, but yeah, I'm in. Philly's a good second half team. Hope that doesn't come back to bite them in the playoffs. But all right, next one. And I already know what we're all gonna say. Are we in or are we out? The Ravens will move on from Justin Tucker next year.
Oh, hands down, and on that one, it's sad to see that one of the greats is going downhill the way he's going downhill. I saw a
I
stat actually that he is after the two misses that he missed this week's game that the Carolina kicker is the most accurate kicker now.
I don't know if I'm saying I'm in, more of I think that they will get a second kicker and they'll just have two kickers on their roster next year. And if Tucker starts to do bad again, that kicker come in or Tucker can train this kicker. So I don't think that they ultimately move on from him, but I think they're going to have him train his replacement.
Also, I think he's messed up in a few big moments in the regular season so far. I think if he continues and doesn't mess up like a key playoff scenario type situation, that they would bring him back. Like, say he's in the playoffs and hits a clutch field goal to win, and then like the next game they lose or something. I don't think they would cut ties with him unless he continues like even into like week 18. It comes down to a playoff spot. He misses. Okay, they probably place him. If he has success the rest of the year, I think his longevity, they kind of stick with him still and be like, okay, last season was like eh.
All right, well then here, let me put a scenario in play. It's conference. It goes divisional then conference, right?
Yeah.
So conference is on the
Wild card
line.
division.
It's the divisional matchup. They're playing the Chiefs. Tucker misses three field goals. This is the one time that Harbaugh gets ballsy and goes for two and it actually works and they win. Are you still relying on Tucker after he missed three field goals that ultimately almost lost you that game? Because then in the
I'll go
divisional,
to.
he hits a 60-yarder to win to take you to the Super Bowl.
I say go with this. I would probably start if I saw that my two points going to work. I'm gonna go with my 2 point.
Yeah, I mean, I think either way from this point, like you said, Tim, I think either way they will bring in some type of competition in the off season
Yeah, that's
and
what I'm
just spice
thinking.
it up. Like either give him a refresh or just like if the other person outperforms him, like he'll get another job somewhere just because
Oh,
of his name and
definitely.
history. Like so
Or the other option is does Tucker take himself out before it gets to that?
so yeah,
Like, does
I'm not
Tucker
dealing
look
with it.
back at the season and say, man, I missed nine field goals and I missed maybe nine in my whole career. I think it's time I pack it up. Or do you think he
You know, he
hangs
might
around because
actually.
he thinks that this is a Super Bowl team?
I mean,
I think if they,
also,
I think that if you look at it and say it's time to hang the boots up, I think he will wait till the end of the season. That's just me.
Well, I think he'll wait till the end of the season. He's not just going to say, "Oh, well, I missed 2 against Pittsburgh. I'm done."
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think I don't think he would. I don't think he would go ahead and think about it now. I think he's going to, no matter what, stick it out, and it's playing in his head that he's missed this many kicks this season, but I think he's just going to um, have that chip on his shoulder that it's going to help him propel better throughout the rest of the season. We'll see how it goes, though.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a break and head on over to your guys' favorite segment that you voted on in the 2024 season. That Catch, though, with Tank. Take it away, Tank.
Welcome to this week's episode of That Catch, though. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another episode of That Catch, though. I got 3 nominees, 1 honorable mention, and we'll go ahead and start it off with the honorable mention. Him says I nominate him all the time. Well, it's kind of true. George Pickens, congratulations for being the honorable mention. So, my 3 nominees. First one we'll get right into is going to be Puka Nacua from the Rams. Here's the video.
Stafford floats it. Nacua reaching, diving, holding on.
Video number 2 comes from none other than a former Dallas Cowboys player, good old Amari Cooper of the Bills.
This is the best third down back in the game. He's going down the field. Oh, look at
And the third video comes from none other than, well, I was told by somebody if I don't nominate him, this is rigged. And here's the thing. I had already planned to nominate him. I just didn't know his name because I had to ask, who are you talking about and what catch, though? So it is from none other than Peyton Wilson of the Steelers. Here's the video.
it in the bucket, caught by Hill. Steelers fighting for the football. They come.
All right, well, you saw all 3 videos, and I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to lie. It was tough to choose out of the 3 that I nominated which one I like. So, can I have a drum roll, please? All right, well, you heard the drum roll, and ladies and gentlemen, it was Peyton Wilson. Congratulations.
Man, 2 Steelers, not technically nominated because one was an honorable mention, but wow. Them Steelers, man.
Yeah.
But, all right, speaking of the Steelers, are we in or are we out? Steelers are Super Bowl contenders with Russell Wilson at the helm.
in
I know 2 weeks ago when we did our mid-seasons, I put the Steelers as my Super Bowl prediction. But, I mean, when you only put up 6 field goals against the Ravens, I don't know if you can really say you're Super Bowl, like, competitive.
you can't count that rivalry. The past 87 times they've played, no team scored more than 20 points.
Yeah, but what if they face each other again in the playoffs? Do you think 6 field goals is going to save it?
Against the Ravens, yes, because they can stop their offense. They have the answers. Their defense is so good. Their defense has always carried them. This is the team I was talking about last year when you guys called me crazy. If Kenny Pickett would have been anything, then this is the team they could have been last year. They had all the right pieces. They need good quarterback play. Russell Wilson's providing that. He's not making dumb choices.
I'll get back to this after
you
week
can't say that
16.
because that pass that he had, that interception.
No, that
with,
was not
Marlon
Russ.
Humphrey. No, yeah, what? He floated the ball up. Don't even sit here and tell me that wasn't.
That 6'7" tight end that they have who ducked instead of jumping up for the ball cost that interception. If that Washington guy jumps, that's a catch. But he literally ducked thinking that there was a receiver behind him.
No, I
Look the play up. Yes,
I give it more to
he
Russ.
did not jump for the ball. That was
Ladies and
definitely
gentlemen,
a touchdown
yeah, I agree.
pass.
We will add a link to this play.
No, I'm sorry. Yes, it was on the wide receiver, but it's mainly on Wilson on that. I'm sorry.
I don't know,
So
dude.
no,
Washington was wide open. If he jumps, that's a touchdown, and that's a great play by Russ. But if Washington doesn't duck, thinking that there's a receiver behind him that the ball is going to, then, it's not intercepted. I will give you that in the
no, I'm
red
sorry.
zone, Russ was making very poor decisions that led to all those field goals. But I'm not putting that interception on him. I'm putting the
I'm putting
interception
it on him.
on Washington.
No, but no, I think um, Pittsburgh does have a good team this year, and I think that they are. Uh, I think it's honestly going to come down to the three teams in the AFC. Actually, I want to say four teams. It's going to come down to Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Buffalo, and Kansas City, and it's going to be a tough race in the AFC conference.
Mm, I don't know. I might be the odd man out, and this could potentially be an in or out, but I think in the playoffs, Chiefs get knocked out early, and I'm putting the Chargers in their spot.
I see that what is it AFC West? They win the AFC West, and they make it past wild card because Buffalo, I feel, is going to get the number one seed. I feel that Buffalo and Kansas City are going to tie at the end of the have tying records, but because Buffalo beat Kansas City, Buffalo gets the number one seed. They get the bye, and Kansas City wins wild card, loses, and I can see him losing in divisional.
I don't know,
Yeah,
man. I
losing
think
divisional.
uh, I think Chargers and Broncos sneak in there, and I think we get a KC versus Chargers, and I think the Chargers pull it off. And I think
Yeah.
that we get Pittsburgh versus Buffalo, Chargers versus not Pittsburgh, Buffalo, Pittsburgh Chargers, and then Baltimore Buffalo. And I think Baltimore versus Pitt, and the winner of the AFC North basically he's going to go on. So that's how I'm looking at it. That's my mid-season playoff predictions, but we know how my playoff predictions went this year when I had Miami being like the third best and Buffalo not being in there and Cincy being the number one seed at 14-3.
Yeah, it's
So in the AFC, don't listen to me, but the NFC I was kind of right except for Dallas. Actually, no, the Niners who are sitting in last place in their division.
going what one
Eh,
game behind.
that division.
Technically, it's Cardinals are
They,
6-4, and then they're all 5-5. But the Niners are 1-3 in the division.
yeah, so they have an uphill.
I would say they've lost to the Rams, they've lost to the Cardinals, and they lost to Seattle, and then they beat Seattle. Plus, the Niners have a pretty tough schedule coming up because they got Green Bay. I think they have the Lions, they have the Bills, and then they have the Rams and the Cardinals again. So I think the
So
Niners
are
might
we
have a
seeing?
tough chance getting in.
I was gonna say, are we seeing San Francisco not even making playoffs?
I mean,
I mean, that's a
I
whole
have the
different
bet that
subject.
they're
If you want
winning
to wait
the
till next week,
say I have a bet that they're winning the division, so I hope that's not true.
I mean, they can't lose more than 2 games at this point.
Yeah, pretty much. But all right, we'll jump into the next in or we out. Steve Spagnuolo could be the head coach of at least a third of the teams out there right now.
I'm definitely in on that.
I don't know why he
See,
never tries to go for head coach.
Do you
I
think
think
he's
he,
just content at being what he's at?
I think he just
Because he's what
I
an
think
all he's just
he's
what
a
he's a
defense
defensive coordinator.
coordinator. Yeah. But I mean, when he was the intern for the Giants, I mean, he was like 4-2. So
yeah, some interim stuff you can't always tell though, because it's
yeah,
so hard when it's actually your team to run. And maybe he just has no passion to run a whole team, and he's just like, "Hey, I'm great at what I do. Why change it?" And
I think
but
it's he doesn't know offense. Like he knows what to call on defense, and if it would come towards offense, he's like,
yeah,
I'm not sure.
But you can still be a head coach and be great at that one position and have that other missing piece being an offensive coordinator who knows what they're doing and let them call the offense, if that makes sense.
Yeah, a lot of times that might not work out so strong though. Like in Washington right now, it is because Dan Quinn's a big defensive guy. He's letting Cliff do all the work with Jaden, and it's working well. But you see other times where these coordinators go get a head coaching job, and whatever they were coordinating that was great struggles because they can't put all their emphasis on that. They have to run the whole team. And like Nathaniel Hackett, I mean, like,
Yeah. Say Hackett was definitely better as an OC than a head coach. Josh McDaniels, special teams
yeah,
coach, nothing more.
yeah, like
Say there's some people who like, oh, they would be a perfect head coach, and then they'd be a head coach, and
well,
it
I guess Robert Sala, yeah, great defensive coordinator, could not manage a whole team. Terrible press relations.
what's who was
Yeah,
who was just the Panthers?
Matt
Matt,
Rule.
yeah, Matt Rule, great OC in college,
Yeah,
god awful head coach.
yeah, great college coach in general, like pretty good college. But yeah, NFL now, like
Yeah, like the one guy who was in Philly before
Chip
Doug.
Kelly. Chip
Yeah,
Kelly.
Chip Kelly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Great OC on the Niners and then head coach for Oregon, but oh, all right.
Dream team.
I
Are we
think
in or are we out? The Bears should bench Caleb Williams. I'm gonna say I'm out because he showed potential in this week's game and honestly
Yeah,
should have beat the Packers if it wasn't for the block.
yeah,
And
block.
like that's not on him.
can I be half in, half out?
Yeah, I mean,
I
there's times
mean,
that I've done that. I think you're just half
like
in because of Tyson Badgett being from your hometown.
no, actually, I'm not. No, that's not why. Um, I don't, I don't. I've never liked him. I didn't think he would be I didn't think he'd be the the quarterback that he is right now in the NFL. And I feel that he has. I say next year he will turn it around and do better. I feel like this season
I just don't think that offense is around him.
he's doing better than Richardson. I mean, yeah, it's his second year. He's doing better than Young. It's his second year. I get that, but he's
See, and
a
I
rookie.
can't even put that on that. I think you put Bryce Young on the Bears team and he does a whole lot better looking. Plus, I have seen stats that Bryce Young's stats are better than what Caleb Williams is, and Bryce Young has been benched how many times? So,
So that's why I
I don't
say I'm
know.
half in, half out. I'm half in,
I
half out.
think with how many weapons not Bryce Young, Caleb Williams has, there was a lot of potential riding on him and a lot that people were expecting out of him. So, I mean, I kind of got to give him the benefit of the doubt that he had all of this put on him, knowing, hey, it might not happen.
Also, I don't know how. I mean, the Bears are a notoriously like kind of bad organization decision making wise. I don't see how you could fire your offensive coordinator knowing something's not working there, and then bench your rookie starting quarterback, assuming it's something to do with him.
Yeah.
Problems aren't him in this organization; it's their decision making. They spent
Oh
all
no,
this money to
I
improve weapons and didn't give an offensive line to work with. Like,
I agree with that. I'm just saying I think I'm half in, half out. So
But another thing
yeah,
with mine is the trash talk at the beginning of the season from him. Like saying, "Oh, I've got the best receiving group that a rookie could ask
oh yeah,
for," and
yeah.
looking at your rookie punter and saying you're not going to have to punt much here, and then he has more punting yards than you have passing yards. Like
yeah.
that's just arrogant stuff that you
It
kind of look
is.
stupid for.
Well, yeah, I mean, if the stuff you're saying doesn't pan out, you look like a complete jackass for sure. But if it does work out, he looks like an awesome, confident, cocky superstar. Like, yeah, this
He
guy's
looks like one of
legit.
the best players.
So, but
Speaking of best players, what's around the league today? Tank, Do
I
you know?
was well, we'll just shoot it over to Tim because I think that's what you were trying to get at. We're, we're
It
gonna
was a
try,
perfect transition moment, but you do the intro to him, so I didn't want to just jump into him. Yeah.
Well, I thought you were
well,
doing the intro. I was like, all right, Pat, you take it.
that's what
It
I
was
was
it was
doing. I
it was
mean,
a great it was a great moment too. So I was like, I don't know if Tank's gonna jump on it or not. So
I
anyway.
was,
All
but
right, so we're here
you
with Tim's
started.
Have a Day. All
So we'll
right.
jump over to Tim for have a day. Take it
So
away, Tim.
I got three nominees, and this time it's going to be a little random switcheroo again. People you're not used to being nominated. So first up, we got this
Oh,
guy
Derrick
made
Henry.
a 20-some yard field goal, two 30-some yard field goals, and three 50-yard field goals to win 18-16, being the only person who scored, Chris Boswell. Then this receiver had 9 catches, 148 yards, and one touchdown, Mr. T. Higgins. And last but not least, this guy had 8 catches for 50 yards, 7 rushing attempts for 138 yards, and 3 rushing touchdowns. And he even had 1 pass for 18 yards and a touchdown. Mr. Taysom Hill, have a day. Man, that Taysom Hill guy.
What is he
Oh,
classified as?
Right now, he's technically a tight end.
yeah.
That's
He's
what
no
he's in the
longer
roster as.
QB. He's no longer QB, comma tight end.
Yeah, he is technically in the roster as tight end. But I think it's like third
And
string
I
tight
think
end, and he just does whatever he wants.
while you know you love Taysom Hill,
I love
you
Taysom.
you love some Taysom. Anytime he has a good game, I know he's gonna be your half a day. But
But my problem with
so
Taysom Hill is when I get him in fantasy, that's when he wants to put up 4 points. And then
yeah.
I'm like, all right, I got to get rid of Taysom Hill. He puts up 41.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So,
I've done that with him, and it's like, dude, I need you to score more than just 4 or 5 points this week,
yeah, so
and
Taysom
then I
Hill
put him
is
on my
like,
bench.
he's guaranteed once a year to have that explosive game.
Just say their offensive coordinators just like, hey, we can do this every week, but it'd be unfair. All right, give Taysom a break. We're gonna unleash him 2 times a year tops.
Nah, there's that one page in the script, and all it says is bold letters is Taysom Hill, and the team that's playing them are like, ah, god damn it.
Yeah, it's like they draw random numbers 1 through 18 to see what week they're unleashing him. All right, looks like week 11 this year, Taysom.
And they're looking like, oh, Cleveland, perfect. Bubble.
And that's when you need B11 on your bingo board. Bingo.
Yeah. So, all right, are we in or are we out? Jared Goff is putting up MVP stats this year.
Actually, I'm in on this.
I want to say I'm in, but I'm also not in. Like, I mean, if you go 12-16 with 158 yards, but your team puts up 42 points, that's MVP stats, but your team just put up 42 points.
Well, this week's blowout was a little better for him stat
Yeah,
wise.
he looked well. That's because he had to make up for last week's 5 interceptions.
Yeah, he's like, all right, I'll go out and do it.
Which,
But
speaking of the Lions, I forgot I wanted to give them an honorable mention because I couldn't put every single player on there. I already did that once against Dallas. The only team that Detroit has now got a scoregami on. They now did it to Jacksonville.
True,
it's
true.
always good to be in the same category as Jacksonville.
I mean, we're trying to get the number one draft spot.
Hey, I mean, wasn't Mac Jones and Trey Lance in the same draft?
Oh, that's look
So
how
Really?
far
there
they've
you
come.
go.
Yeah, yeah. It
Wow,
was pick
I didn't know
3
they
and
were.
pick 15.
And Trevor Lawrence was in that draft too. Pick
Yeah,
one. But
insane.
yeah, I Jared Goff, I don't know, man. It's hit or miss, basically. Like, I mean, he'll go one week where he has a 95% completion ratio with going 15 for 16, 3 touchdowns and 210 yards, and then he'll have another one where he's 23 and 48, 5 interceptions and 300 passing yards. I don't know. I wish you could just give the MVP to a whole team.
They look so. I really hope they go the whole way. To be honest, well, it's, not, it's gonna be heartbreaking. I
As a Philly fan.
As a Philly fan, let me rephrase here, all you fellow Philly fans. Of course, the Eagles are my number one choice. But seeing the Lions go the rest of the way and win the Super Bowl, I would not be. Atlanta has to step up here and not keep losing. I'm completely okay if Atlanta wins instead of Tampa because I'd much rather see them.
Tampa still could get a playoff spot at the wild card.
Yeah, well, I don't want to face them, Tim.
I don't know. I think we have Packers, Commanders, and Vikings like locked in for wild
Listen,
card.
here's the thing. We're going to have to go back.
I mean, if Atlanta keeps losing, I mean,
Yeah.
what are we supposed to do there? All right, next in Are We Out? This will be the last year of Zach Taylor in Cincy.
I'm in.
I think that his time is done. I don't think Cincy is around him anymore. I think Burrow's fed up with him. And I think that his play calling is costing them these games.
Oh my God.
What?
You just opened my. For one, I don't follow all these daily whatever rumor hypes, so I don't know if this was even a big talking point. This was the first I've even considered.
This is my talking point.
Yeah.
I watched the game Sunday night, and I was like, wow, Zach Taylor needs to go.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because it's not brought up as much. I guess just because they're recently a Super Bowl contender and whatnot. But could you imagine they decide to part ways and Bill Belichick takes over with Joe Burrow and this young core and fixes their defensive problems that they struggle at?
I mean, it's possible.
I know.
I
wouldn't want that.
It's happening. It's happening.
I know that there is talks of T. Higgins is done. Like after this year, he's done.
Yeah.
And there is sources that he's going to go to New England, and I mean, like it's already a done deal that as the season's over, he's going there. But I don't know. There's the whole talk of Belichick going to the Jags if they fire Doug Peterson. But
I'd love to have Belichick at Dallas, even though I couldn't stand him in Patriots.
Yeah.
I guess he's kind of front runner everywhere, and people would like him. But
I mean, there's also the Raiders that Belichick could be at.
Tom Brady is a co-owner or whatever, or holds shares in them or whatever.
Part owner.
Could you imagine Tom Brady firing Bill Belichick? How satisfying that would be to him.
Bill loses the first game and Tom just fires him.
So I mean, I think Belichick has a spot somewhere. Just we don't know where yet. Of course, there's going to be a lot of head coaching jobs. What is it called, Black Monday or whatever? The day out,
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, Tank, because that leads me into my final in or we out. The record for most NFL coaches fired is 10 in one season. Do we break that record this year? You got to think. We already have 2.
Okay, so you got to think about it. You got Jags, and 9 times out of 10 are going to get rid of Dougie P. Dallas is getting rid of McCarthy 9 times out of 10.
So that's at 4. Giants will get rid of Dayball.
Okay. So then
I think the Bears move on from Eberflus.
Okay, and then you got Cincinnati,
Cincy gets rid of Zach Taylor. I think the Browns move on from Stefanski. And I think that it's very possible Mike Vrabel will step up and be their coach. So, that's 8 right there.
Then you got the Raiders.
Pierce could go.
Trying to think who else.
I mean, I would
Uh,
say Panthers, but
Who
they're
do you
not going to
think?
give up on one coach. It's kind of hard whenever like a lot of these coaches are already brand new.
Yeah.
Well, I don't remember his wishes. Is Sean McVay gonna leave if they don't make? Because wasn't he like kind of disinterested in coaching?
Well,
And
the last 2-3 years, he said that he's going to retire, and he still hasn't done
okay,
it. But
okay,
retiring is different from being fired,
yeah,
though.
being fired. Yeah, yeah. I'm just trying. I'm trying to think of any type
Um,
of coaching change.
I don't know. Do you think that if the Niners do real bad this year, that Shanahan's on the block?
No.
Yeah, I don't think that quick.
I think they would have to be sucking this year and then suck next year. I think that would next year would be
Yeah.
if he would start off really bad next year, I think his spot would be
Remember
really in
his
the hot
first
seat.
2 years when he was 3-13 and 6-10, and everybody thought he was already done.
Yeah.
um,
What's
Gerard
your thoughts?
Mayo, I think Mayo's already potentially done, and I mean that would be 10. Does Miami move on from McDaniel?
They could.
I
I
don't
mean,
see
it's not
they could,
that
but I
far
don't see
fetched.
I don't see them doing it to him because I feel a lot of the downfall of Miami was honestly because of Tua. And it's sad to say that but the reason I feel it's a little bit on Tua is because of his concussions. Legit.
I don't
That's what I
know.
think.
The only reason I bring up McDaniels is because there was against the Colts, and it was one other game. Instead of trying to coach his team, which are they're close to winning and close to losing, which they lost both games, but they were close to winning. He's on the sideline joking and not paying attention to the game, and like fans were like blowing up about it.
Yeah.
So that's my reasoning for saying McDaniels because he seems like he's more of a buddy buddy than he is a coach.
You were saying he was a buddy.
Yeah, I just
Uh
feel like McDaniels is too buddy buddy with them. Like he's not being a coach; he's being a friend.
all right, I'm gonna shoot this one out and I want your honest opinion. If we would see the Philadelphia Eagles slump the way they did last season, the rest of this season, do we see Sirianni going?
They lose out,
I would
probably.
say if they lose out,
I would
yes.
imagine.
But I mean, they
Yeah.
got the Giants one more time. They got the Cowboys one more time. I think they got Carolina. I think it's very hard for them to lose out.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, if they would, you would see him going too.
Although Philly did lose
Yeah.
to Tommy DeVito last year.
Yeah. I think if you would have back-to-back seasons of second half of the season, like slumps with that talented roster, probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, at this point, I I think, and knocking on wood, I don't know if this wall is wood, and I don't think it is, but uh,
Probably drywall.
yeah, most are. Definitely not wood. Anyway, yeah, I think they fixed their resolve. They kind of had it earlier this year too, the little slump from last year, and then I think they're on the right track. They did whatever they needed. Maybe everyone realized, hey, let's just feed Saquon all year, not worry about our stats. Let's just win, and here we are.
Yeah, so I think the way that we look at it, I'm going to be out. I'm going to say max 7, 8 coaches. But I mean, it's also very hard when you got Seattle. Well, I guess Seattle was 5-5, so I won't put Seattle in it. But I mean, you got the Titans who look awful, but they just got a new head coach, so you don't want to just give up on them right away. You got Carolina who looks awful, but you just got a new head coach. You don't want to give up on them right away. So I mean, if it wasn't for that
Uh,
fact,
you
then
got
I think we could get.
Patriots.
Well, the Patriots have talked about potentially already giving up on Gerard Mayo.
Oh, see,
Well,
haven't seen anything on that one.
Robert Kraft has said that he thinks that it was not the right choice to put Mayo as coach, and the team's not around them. Although Drake
because
May is kind of like bringing
out of
that
all those
back.
struggling teams, the Patriots kind of look in the best spot because Drake May looks like they hit on him. So yeah, like
Yeah, I would say May's looking
So I'm
promising.
going to say I'm going to kind of agree with you, Tim. After going through all that, I think I say we'll get really close to 10, but I don't see us breaking 10. So I'm going to go out.
Yeah, I think we're at like 7-8 max.
yeah,
So
maybe just two.
yeah, nobody else is gonna get fired at the end of the year.
No, nobody. You're stuck with
Yeah.
Mike. He's getting a new contract.
Dion's looking from the sideline, like, what happened?
Oh wait, also, does it count as a firing if they just don't renew his contract?
um, it's not a firing, but it's a hey, we don't want you
Yeah,
back.
yeah. Like, what does that fall in? Does it count towards our number or not?
I'll count it towards the number because if you were good enough, you would have got the extension.
Yeah. All right, all right.
Yeah, if it's like a hey, your contract's over, bye.
Even with that, I'm still saying under. Yeah, I think maybe 8.
Yeah, it's like 7 or 8 in my
He's already packing his boxes. What are you talking about?
Well, yeah, they were falling from the ceiling.
Right?
But all right, Pat, give us a preview. Who's in last place?
Well,
Cleveland.
no.
No, it's
Although I said always and forever Cleveland, it's definitely Jacksonville.
yeah, I would say it's got to be Jacksonville at this point.
They just got the bricks beat off of them. I am glad the Lions did that to them, but
Hey,
I feel
man,
bad.
you got to think they had Mac Jones in there. If it was Trevor Lawrence, it would have been 52-9.
That's true. That is true. Yeah, let's go Jacksonville there. Probably, I don't know, Vegas 31, Cleveland 30,
All right, now here,
Dallas 29.
dude, don't be sleeping on Tennessee.
I always sleep on them. I don't know. I don't think they're good by any means, but I think they're better than bottom 5, even though their play would suggest otherwise.
Hey, man, they got a 98-yard touchdown.
Yeah, see that?
But all right, here's the real question that I want to ask you. Even though 2 of the teams in the top 10 played each other and one beat the other, is one of them going to get knocked out because of that? And I'm pretty sure you can piece together which teams. Actually, okay, no, I'd have to tell you because Buffalo
There's
played
6 of
Kansas
them.
City, Commanders played the Eagle. Okay, Baltimore and Steelers is who I'm talking about. Because I think you had Baltimore
I didn't
close to like
know.
6.
Yeah, I didn't know if you meant maybe Commanders slipping out.
No,
but,
I completely forgot, and all I was thinking was Baltimore and Pittsburgh.
yeah.
I
Well,
was
I'll
going
give
to say
you a
Buffalo
hint.
and Kansas City played.
I'll give you a hint. The Chiefs definitely didn't slip out of top 10. They
Oh,
didn't
shut.
really they didn't really slip much even with a loss. But maybe some other team did fall out of the other 4 that we mentioned with the 2 losers.
Well, I'd say
Baltimore,
Commanders were like
Baltimore,
8th.
Washington, which one fell?
It's got to be Washington.
Who knows?
They lost 2 games in a row now.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I don't know. You keeping the Cardinals in after a bye?
This is also one of the rare weeks where a team on a bye actually jumped up in the rankings.
Oh. All right. Tank, we did it last week and we predicted it right. I got a sneaky one that I think might make it into the top 10 this time, too. I'm going Denver.
Who was Chargers on there?
No, Chargers weren't.
And they won, didn't they?
Yeah. But I was going Denver because Denver beat the brakes off of the Falcons.
They did.
And Bo Nix putting his name up there for Rookie of the Year now.
Chargers. Who did Chargers beat?
Bengals.
The Bengals.
Sunday night, 34-27.
You say Denver. I'm going Chargers.
Okay.
Well, I'll give you a hint. One of yours right.
Ooh, guess we'll find out Thursday.
They do.
There's the drum roll.
Say, you guys will find out Thursday just like Tank and I. I mean, we both predicted Cardinals last week, so now we're going to find out the tiebreaker of who's right.
I gotta
So.
say, hold on, guys.
All right, with that being the case, I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, comment down below. Tell us if there's... Oh, there it is. Could have muted your mic while you turned your camera off, too. But yeah, if you guys felt like somebody was snubbed in Tanker Eye's thing, go ahead and comment down below. If you think that Jacksonville doesn't deserve 32 and you're still riding that Cleveland train, tell Pat.
Choo choo.
But other than that, that's it from me. And I'll send it on over to Pat.
If you're riding that Cleveland train, it's more like the midnight meat train, and you're gonna get butchered because they're terrible. Oh, wait. I guess that was for bottom spot. So never mind. Keep riding that midnight meat train. Browns are going to the Super Bowl. Talking about the one in my bathroom. Anyway, toss the tank here.
I don't know if I can follow that up, guys. But,
Uh,
I just want to say I love that I get to be the last one because they get to hear me last. So you can go
and
over
vote
and
on
follow
you
us
for worst.
You can follow us on the good old X, aka FKAARTA, Twitter. You can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe button, notification button, push the bell so that every time we drop something, you will be notified. Don't forget one lucky subscriber. Once we hit 100 subscribers on the YouTube page, we'll win a prize from yours truly, Tim, Tank, and Pat. And you can listen to us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify Podcasts. Other than that, be out on TikTok sometime this week for a hot take. Other than that, I'll see you all next week. Peace, y'all.
Goodbye, everybody.